Hi friends, welcome back to Three Barrow Farm. Today is a very windy and cold day for the 1st of October. So today I thought I would stick inside and show you my dehydrators. So I have two dehydrators. They are both secondhand. This one here was my parents' dehydrator and they weren't using it, so I took it on. So I've been using this one for a while now, for quite a few years. And then I got this one here. This is a Fowler Vacola dehydrator. And I got this one secondhand as well from someone who wasn't using it anymore. So let's start with this one first, then we'll move over to the Fowler dehydrator. So I believe this dehydrator was purchased in Aldi and it blows the air from above. I've got some broccoli in here at the moment. You would have seen me filling these trays with the broccoli leaves and some of the sprouting broccoli stems yesterday. So they are pretty much ready. As soon as, there's a little bit of a limpness in that one there, so they need a little bit longer, but the leaves, they just crack like that. You know that they're ready when they crack. Now, the one thing I love about this machine is that the tray at the bottom is empty. So the other one blows from the bottom, which is the difference between these two. But because this one blows the air from above, the bottom tray is pretty clear. The only part that is quite annoying with this tray is that it has these separate compartments here, and some of the leaves and produce that you are drying will get caught up in here. So when you're trying to tip it to, try and get those off, it's a little bit difficult to keep it from falling elsewhere. The other thing about this is that it has 3 trays, and I can't see anywhere that I can get any more trays for this dehydrator. It just has the 3 and that's it. Luckily though, the 3 trays do hold quite a bit of produce. There is quite a thickness in between each tray. And you would have seen me yesterday filling up this space quite heavily with the leaves. They shrink so much, so you can fill this up quite a decent amount. However, if you're doing things that are a bit thicker or fruit or something like that, you're going to want to put them sparse around here. So if I'm doing bananas, I will just be putting one banana. I won't be layering them. I'll just be putting one layer of bananas per tray. But with the leafy greens, you can definitely pile them up and they dehydrate quite well. So this dehydrator has been going for less than a day and only during the day time because we can't dehydrate during the evening because we're off grid here. So I turn these on and off when needed and they still do really well. If I had this on early in the morning yesterday, it would have been ready by the evening. So on the lid here, this is where you've got your controls. You have your on-off switch and you also have your dial to put the temperature you want to get the air to. So because I'm doing vegetables, I can have it up quite high, but when I'm doing herbs and flowers, I'm down here at 35 degrees, so I'll be doing it down here. Of course, the hotter you have it, the faster it's going to dehydrate. However, if you have quite thick pieces of fruit or vegetables that you are dehydrating, and even if you have it up high, it's still going to take a while for it to dehydrate. So there is the brand Lumina for this one, and the lid just sits on top there. It's quite easy to move around. It's quite lightweight And up here where the fans are, it does get a little bit dusty, so I just go in and give it a bit of a clean every now and then. But it doesn't get very dirty compared to the next dehydrator I'm going to show you. Okay, my second dehydrator is the Fowler Vicola dehydrator. It's the Ultimate Dehydrator 4000. And this one is really handy. I've found it really, really great to have this dehydrator. It's helped me with using that one. There is a manual that comes with that one, but the manual that comes with this one is far more in depth as to what you can dehydrate. And it also has on the dial, it has what you can dehydrate at what temperature. So that's really handy when I'm putting in flowers like I have right now. I've got calendula flowers in here. So I just put it at the herb setting, which is the lowest setting. And these ones I've just popped in this morning, but I do have some that are in here that need to come out because they have already been dehydrated. So they're all ready to come out of the dehydrator. Now this dehydrator came with 3 trays, and the way you can tell the 3 trays that they came with, they're quite discolored. They're not as white as the new ones that I've got. So they are more of an off-white color than the new ones. The new ones are very much whiter than the old ones. And the difference between the new trays and the old trays, now when you purchase extra trays, which you can, which is a marvelous thing about having this machine, is that you can buy more trays, and I think it specifies in the book how many you can build your dehydrator up to. I think it's about 8 or 10 trays high, and that's sort of where it sort of stops. It stops at about 8 or 10 because that's the capacity that the air can blow and maintain. You don't want to fill up any more than that. The old trays are fixed in place, so the new trays actually have the ability to take the screen part off the main frame of the tray. So it's kind of easier to clean and look after in that way. It's just a little bit easier to maintain, I guess. But everything else is the same with the trays. They fit in perfectly like the ones that are made for the machine. And then you have the lid, which is quite handy when I'm taking the trays off. So I will take the lid off, put it upside down, and then I will take off all of the trays and pop it onto the lid, the upside down lid. And this just means that anything that might fall down through the gaps of the trays will be collected by the lid. And this is one thing that I find with this machine, is that a lot of things end up on this bottom tray where the air is coming through. And it's a little bit dusty and dirty in this bottom tray. It's really hard to clean it. I can't see whether you can dismantle it in any way and get into it to clean it. You can buy these inserts to go on the trays. So this one here is for putting more liquidy items on to the dehydrator to dehydrate. This is how I dehydrated my tomato paste last summer. So here is a jar of my dried tomato paste. So all I have to do is add some water to this and rehydrate it to use as tomato paste. So I made the tomato paste and whizzed it up, and then I smothered it onto this and it dried, and then I just cracked it off the tray covers and voila. I whizzed it up and I have my dehydrated tomato paste powder. So I have a few of these, and what I could do, in fact, is keep this on the bottom, and that would stop things falling through onto the base of the machine. There are also some finer meshed sheets like this, which I do own, but for the love of me, I cannot find them. I haven't used them for a while now, but they're kind of handy for when you're doing smaller leaves and that. Because even though this mesh is quite finer than that other dehydrator I have, like these are closer together, the holes aren't as big, things really fall through that one. But because it has the tray base at the bottom, everything gets caught and it dries anyway, even if it falls through. But yeah, you can buy mesh ones of these. It's a finer mesh and you can pop them on top here. Once I find them, I will start using them again. I put them somewhere where I don't normally, I think when we had the kitchen done, and now I can't find them, but I will find them and they are very handy. So you can buy all of these items as extras from Fowler's and they still have everything available. So it's really handy. They haven't changed the design of their dehydrators. And so you can buy one secondhand and get replacement parts for your machine and you won't have any issues with it. So that's kind of handy. It's handy to buy something, I think, or get something secondhand that you can get parts for, because we all know that things end up breaking or you want extra bits for your machines, and it's really handy when you can get extra trays and actually have more capacity in this one machine. So I purchased 2 more trays. I think you can buy packs of 2, and I have 6 trays all up. So yeah, it's really, really handy and I really love this machine. So there we go. They are my dehydrators that I have. I highly recommend that you have a dehydrator, at least one, in your house when you're growing food in your garden, because it is such a great thing to have, even to just dehydrate all the sort of waste product like the leaves of broccoli plants and cabbages and things like that. If you're not going to be using them up, or if you've got a glut of a vegetable, to dehydrate some of it and make a powder and then add it into soups and sauces, omelettes, all sorts of things that you can add. Just a little bit, even just half a teaspoon is going to be a lot, because the amount of the vegetable decreases in size when it's dehydrated, and then when you make a powder from it, it's so much smaller. So that powder is full of nutrients and only a small amount is really needed, because a teaspoon probably has 10 leaves in it or something like that. So yeah, if you think about it that way, it's definitely worth having a dehydrator if you don't already have one. I like to semi-dry some tomatoes, to do semi-dried tomatoes in oil. There's lots of things that you can dry, lots of fruit that you can dry. We do apple rings when our apple trees are absolutely laden with apples. It's a great way to utilize the apples that way. And I haven't yet delved into the world of like Mylar bags and putting in some of the dehydrated product into those bags so that they last up to 20 years in the bags. I want to do this with my green powders that I make, and I would like to also do a beetroot powder this spring, summer, when I have my next beetroot harvest. I want to do some dehydrating of beetroot as well and make a red powder with those. And because I've got a huge amount of greens in my garden this winter, I am doing a lot of dehydrating, and I've got jar after jar after jar of green powders now. I've been doing kale powders, so doing a kale one separately, because I feel like you don't need to cook the kale as much, so I can use that in smoothies and things like that. But some of my green powders, like this one, is a mixture of cabbage leaves and broccoli leaves and cauliflower leaves. This I want to cook up because I feel like we digest it better when it's cooked. So I'm going to be putting this into soups and sauces and things that are going to be heated and cooked for a while, just so it's more digestible for our bodies. So I hope this video found you well and that it helped you in some way and helped you make a decision on whether to buy a new dehydrator or just get a second-hand one. For the price you can get one for second-hand, they're pretty good machines. This one is a cheaper one and it's still going strong. I pretty much have it on 4 out of 7 days of the week through summer, if not 7 days of the week, definitely in autumn once all of the produce is coming in bucket loads. And this one's been fantastic as well. It's a little bit more expensive, brand new, but it's worth it when you can add more trays. So that's just, 2 different dehydrators, very different bodies and very different ways of working as well. This one is pushing the air downwards and it's sort of escaping from these holes at the front. So it's going down in the middle and escaping from the front, the top here, the sides. And then this one here is blowing up from underneath and escaping from in here. I definitely find this one works faster, but that could also be because this one has more trays and it gets filled up more than this one here. I hope you have enjoyed this video and I will see you again very soon. Bye for now.